Hello and welcome to another audio analysis. In today's video we'll be taking a look at the track Emotion Sickness by the American rock band Queens of the Stone Age. This is the first single from their upcoming album In Times New Roman, which will be landing on June 16th. It will be their 8th studio album and their first since Villains landed in 2017. And their last offering certainly was very well received. Despite not really pulling any new tricks out of the bag, it still had that iconic Queen sound that was really shown across the album. And whilst they didn't really try anything new, they did continue to develop the sonic palette that they are pretty much known for. So will this latest track be emotionally sick or emotionally sweet? Let's take a look at exactly how it sounds.
Use once and destroy. Single servings of pain. A dose of emotion sickness that just can't shake. And my
I like how they were seeing these offbeat offerings that the band are very much known for, really never playing to a typical melody. It's something they really love to do in most of their music. And we pretty much knew from the title that this song is going to be about the feelings of emotion and its sickness, and how these negative emotions can have a real impact on you, and how you can feel negative emotions. And we can see that it's got a lot of negative spin, even just from this first verse. Use once and destroy, single servings of pain, a dose of much sickness. And I like how it ends though with then my fever broke at the end. So it's almost like you've gone through this bout, this tough point in your life, then the fever breaks, and although you're still sweating it out almost, and you're still feeling a bit rough around the edges, you do start to get over the crest of that hill and start working towards kind of improving again. I'm really enjoying some of these eccentric lyrics we've really got being brought through on this track. See the sights, Holy Braille. This idea that obviously you can't typically see Braille because most people that use it are actually blind, but Holy Braille is this idea of this guiding light almost, this something that you can't see, this power above. So really smart metaphoric lyrics to really show that idea. And the idea of no possessions, just your flesh on. So your flesh is your only possession. So you've been stripped down to the bone. There's a lot of layers to these lyrics that you can really uncover. And this idea of rip some pieces free, almost like you're tearing off portions of your own skin or flesh to try and make something work, a pound of flesh. So lots really going on here that you could pull apart in a million different ways, but really focusing on this idea of kind of tearing yourself to pieces almost because of the emotions that you feel. And that's really coming through on this, and the things you can maybe turn to, certainly with the idea of Holy Bill, maybe turning to God or something to try and cure you. So kind of has this old element to it, and that's obviously shown through the actual album title as well, In Times New Roman. And I'm starting to feel like this track is certainly revolving around Josh's sort of recent personal struggles that he's been going through. I know he's been having a lot of issues with his ex-wife, and really there's been a lot of things being brought into the public eye that's really happened, and lots of custody battles and things like that. So it certainly feels like this is sort of tailored towards him personally. This idea of baby don't care for me, had to let her go. There's been a lot of things going on there. And we can certainly see some of this idea of oh atrocious, ferocious as well. So kind of this battle that's been going on constantly, and the emotion sickness he's been feeling from everything that he's been going through. And he has been somebody that's been very notable on public struggles or personal struggles that he's gone through over the past number of years, pretty much since Queens of the Stone Age actually started as a band. So you can start to see that really coming through as we do get through the areas such as the chorus of the track. really enjoying this kind of offbeat style that we have got to the track. It's just something that really stands out for them as a band, and it really helps to strengthen a lot of their tracks, because at times they often feel quite progressive, but they don't kind of progress too heavily. They kind of stick within their own soundscape that they've kind of created, and it has become a very unique style for the band. And we've got more lyrics really coming through here, going to vacuum all the perfume. So almost like you're trying to get rid of it by removing someone's stuff and getting it out of sight. So really kind of tidying up from the past and really trying to move on. So again, going to the idea of breaking the fever, kind of doing these things to try and move forward in time and kind of progress from the past things that have happened in your life that have caused you so much emotional sickness. I'm really enjoying some of these visuals from Liam Lynch, who's obviously known for things such as United States of Whatever. He's really come and got involved with this track. Obviously, him and Josh are quite good friends. And more lyrics that really do show this idea of kind of this dismemberment between two people. How we grow is so painful, believe me, so growing apart. And I like how, despite this having that personal touch for Josh, it is still a track that is very open to just different types of relationships. It could be between a father and a son, a mother and a daughter. It could be a relationship between two lovers. You can really take different aspects from it and apply it to almost any relationship where you have to kind of cut people off because they're causing you kind of a lot of pain and a lot of emotional sickness. So really a lot of the lyrics do fit in very well with the actual title, and it certainly just constantly comes back to this idea and showing the different ways through these metaphoric styles as well, this flick of the switch, that it's almost like this point where you really know that you need to cut somebody out of your life. So there's some great lyrics really being shown throughout this track.
Baby, don't care for me. Baby, don't care for me. Never let her go. People come and go on the breeze for a whole life. Possibly, I don't let her
Yes, it certainly is great to see the band making a return after 6 years since they last released music, and just great to see that they're really drawing on personal influence. That's something they've touched on that they want to do with this album. It's about making music that the band want to make that is personal to them, whilst also keeping it open and available to everybody. You can certainly see the influence that Josh's personal struggles recently have had on this track. It really just sort of shine through in many of the lyrics, but I love how they've always still got this metaphoric, almost hidden layers behind the actual lyrics themselves that are so deep you can really uncover lots of different things, and at times it can be quite difficult to really unravel them, but certainly for a song like this it is really accessible and easy to understand because it's focused on something that everybody can relate to, because everybody has relationships with different people in different forms as well. And I love how musically as well it sticks to many of the things we have seen from the band over these. It certainly has a bit of a rated R feel to it. Some of their earlier material does have those slight elements of trying to have that progressive rock sound, but something a little bit edgier at times times as well, before occasionally kind of picking up the pace slightly in the chorus. So it's never going to have that melodic sound, but certainly just is very catchy still, with its just chorus being so easy to get on board with. And I will be really interested to see if this album is going to put a heavy focus on moving forward in your life. The idea of In Times New Roman, if you take the Roman off, it's just In Times New, so really taking a change, pushing it forward. So we might see that really brought through on the album. I'm very curious to see how it is going to sound as a whole, because I think this is track 9, so it's going to be the later stages of the album. So really hard to say if it's going to be one of those standout tracks, or whether some of the ones earlier are going to have that real powerhouse sound to them we're used to hearing from the band. But certainly very impressed with this first song they have released in quite some time. I'm really looking forward to getting to hear the album when it does release later in the year. So that will be everything for today's video, but as always, feel free to let me know your thoughts about this track in the comments section below. Are you quite excited for the new album, getting to hear some new material from the band? Do you think it'll live up to their sound as well? Do you think it'll be more closer to their early material or more recent material? I would love to know your thoughts. And as always, if you want to see more content like this, then please do feel free to subscribe, and I will see you in the next Audio Analysis.